And welcome into NFL Daily Friday edition. That means we are picking games. It's week 3 in the National Football League. Cam Rogers, Mitchell Renz to break down every single week 3 matchup, as well as go through those highlights from last night's 49ers versus Rams game. And Mitch, we're recapping power rankings as well, so we just got a ton of stuff going on today.
Oh man, I can't wait. Cam and Mitch, this is not Modern Family, but this is modern day NFL talent right here. I'm excited to do the show with my roommate. Let's kill it.
Absolutely. A lot of content to get to, a lot of good NFL matchups. And by the way, we are presented by mybookie.ag. Mitchell, you know, when I started hosting NFL shows, people always come to me for advice in terms of picking games. I actually have a lot of gambler friends out there. And they're thinking, oh, Cam, what should I go with this? Should I go with this? Should I go with that? I go, how about you do this? Go with mybookie.ag when you submit your NFL picks. You get up to $1,000 in free money, Mitchell. So if you put down $500 in your initial deposit, they'll match that with $500. So go on to mybookie.ag. Again, 100% deposit bonus. Use promo code CHAT so they know you guys came from us. Or you could go to chatsports.com/bet. Do the same thing. Use promo code CHAT. Submit your picks for week 3 across the NFL. And it's really an awesome concept.
Oh man, I mean $500 and you get $500 for free. You and I both know we could use that $500 to pay for rent right now. But MyBookie is amazing. I sincerely encourage everyone to try it. I know I'm going to try it this weekend. I think we both should put down our top 5 teams this week, and hopefully we can get that rent money paid.
I almost don't want to reveal my picks right now because it's just going to give everybody the answer key to week 3 in the NFL. That's basically what we're doing. We are giving you the answers. So, of course, we are presented by mybookie.ag. We'll be going through some more highlights with them as well. Let's start off with some news and notes.
Let's do it.
And we have Sam Bradford here, who is going to be out versus Tampa Bay. That is very significant in the fact that, look, the Minnesota Vikings are coming off a game where they were not very inspirational, shall we say, when they played the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now they take on a Tampa Bay team that is absolutely rolling right now. I mean, they have a front 7 that can get after the quarterback, pretty good secondary as well. And now it's going to be Case Keenum 2.0 yet again. And with Sam Bradford out with that knee injury, well, we all know how he can be with knees.
Yeah, this is his second time. He's had 2 surgeries on that knee, so it's not really good. And I really expect the Vikings to really lean on that running game, use that defense. And Dalvin Cook last week averaged 5.3 yards per carry. So look for Dalvin Cook to be really heavily used in this game.
And, of course, you see in the article there on our Chat Sports app that he is unlikely to play. We updated that. Bradford is officially out. And we move on to more injury news across the NFL. It is Friday, of course. Rob Gronkowski, Danny Amendola, they're going to play against the Houston Texans. And look, I don't think these are 2 players that were necessarily needed against a Deshaun Watson-led Texans offense at Gillette Stadium, but it's good to have those 2 guys back.
A lot of confidence. I think the last time we saw the Patriots this confident was week 1 against the Chiefs. We saw how that went. But yeah. I think this game's going to be a little different. I expect Gronk to absolutely Gronk spike all over the Texans. Giggity on that one.
There you go. So Gronkowski, Amendola, Chris Hogan, they're pretty much locked and loaded, the Patriots are, for that game against the Houston Texans. Speaking of important injuries here, TJ Watt is out versus Chicago this week. TJ Watt has really had a big time beginning of his season so far for the Pittsburgh Steelers. This one's going to hurt for the black and gold here as they take on a Chicago team in Chicago where we know Ben Roethlisberger can struggle, and I'm talking about on the road.
Yeah, he's struggled a lot his entire career, and that's kind of why I guess I won't totally give it away with our picks, but Watt's been good. He might be the better Watt career long. I've heard a lot of stories about that, but Chicago needs a little life offensively, and maybe this is something that can help him do that.
And we know how groin injuries can be really fickle at times, so we'll see what happens in terms of his recovery going forward. TJ Watt, a big part of that defense for Pittsburgh. And we had a game last night, by the way. Did you know that? Like Thursday Night Football. By the way, we couldn't watch that game because it was on NFL Network. Unfortunately, wasn't in our package.
Yeah,
so
Spectrum.
Yeah.
Get on the game, Spectrum. There's no NFL Network on our sports package. Let's be real. Like that's like an internet provider making someone use dial-up.
We can get our content here right now as we go through these highlights here. First play of the game. And Brian Hoyer intercepted. Nicole Roby-Coleman back to the 3. And not a great start for the 49ers. Gurley took that in for a touchdown. 49ers would respond here. Hoyer looking. He says, just give me the end zone myself. Tied at 7 we are. Rams also respond. Jared Goff checks down to Todd Gurley. He runs it in 14-7 in the first quarter still. Jump ahead to just before the first half. And Todd Gurley makes it 24-13 with his third touchdown of the night. After an early quarter Carlos Hyde score, the Rams make it a 14-point lead with a Sammy Watkins TD catch. And then the Niners don't quit. They're still fighting. Brian Hoyer to the end zone to Garrett Setlick. Rams again trying to score. Jared Goff to Watkins again. What an extension by him. Take another look here, folks. I mean, just taking on tacklers. And this is a guy who's been dealing with injuries in his career. He stretches out. Very Antonio Brown-esque from last year. Here come the 49ers. Hoyer to rookie Trent Taylor, and it's 41-33. 49ers would get the ball back outside of 2 minutes, and it's another Carlos Hyde TD, making it a 2-point game. Onside kick here, and it's recovered by the 49ers. Raheem Mostert, and the Niners have a chance here. Brian Hoyer has protection initially, but Aaron Donald takes him down, and the Rams escape with a 41-39 victory. By the way, wasn't shown in the highlights there, but a really bad pass interference call there for the 49ers against Trent Taylor, and that pushed them back to that 4th down and 20, and really the 49ers had no shot there. So they fall to 0-3 on the campaign. The Los Angeles Rams are now 2-1, a surprise 2-1, Mitchell.
Yeah, what a game. I think this might be the game of the year, and who would have thought? Rams and 49ers, and it's the thought that Todd Gurley, he has 6 touchdowns, and you really see this Rams team really focusing on that run game. Gurley has 6 touchdowns this season. He had 6 touchdowns last year, and it's been working for the Rams. They look good.
Absolutely unbelievable. You know, I mentioned earlier on the show on my program that Todd Gurley probably has the best shot to be a non-QB MVP this year.
That's a hot take.
I'm just saying. So, good start so far for the Rams. 49ers, they're still searching for their first win. And we're going to recap our power rankings here. And ladies and gentlemen, we want you commenting. We want you diving into that comment bar and letting us know how you feel about these NFL power rankings. At least you have a little bit of data in terms of Week 3 performance with last night's game. But, of course, a whole slate to go. We got Colts at 32, New York Jets at 31, the Browns at 30, Niners at 29, Bengals at 28, Chicago Bears at 27, Bills at 26, Arizona Cardinals at 25. Got the Saints at 24, Texans at 23, Rams at 22, Jags at 21. They're in London this week. 20, the Chargers. 19, the New York Giants. Minnesota Vikings at 18. Redskins at 17. Miami Dolphins at 16. The Eagles at 15. Panthers at 14. And the Titans at 13, and they're rising. The Ravens are also across the pond as well. They're at 12. Lions at 11. Bucks at 10. Big game for them. Seahawks at number 9. We got the Cowboys at number 8, Green Bay Packers at number 7, Steelers 6, Broncos number 5, undefeated are the Broncos. The Raiders play Sunday Night Football this week, number 4, Patriots at number 3, Falcons at number 2, and the Chiefs, according to the Chat Sports NFL Power Rankings, are the best team in the National Football League right now. So, with that, we want you folks to weigh in. Who's the best team in that top 5 right now? Mitchell, we have the Chiefs. We have the Falcons. We have the Patriots. Those are the teams that stick out to me. Who's sticking out to you?
It's the Falcons for me. They embarrassed the Packers last week, and the Falcons played really well, and Matt Ryan has been stellar. He has 7 straight games with 100 or better QBR, and that defense absolutely gave Aaron Rodgers fits, and it's the Falcons for me.
I actually do think the Falcons are the best team in the National Football League personally. But we must remind you, our power rankings are a congregation of all our votes. And so it's hard to argue against the Chiefs, too. They have a really fantastic resume with what wins they have right now. And, of course, we are presented by mybookie.ag. Mitchell, there are a lot of sports books out there, but I have been most impressed with this one. I am an avid picker of NFL games. I love looking into these matchups and getting psyched about them and placing bets and being invested. And mybookie.ag is the best way to do it. 100% deposit bonus. So they will match your initial deposit. Let's say I put down 100, Mitch. They'll give me 100, literally free money. Just use promo code CHAT. And again, mybookie.ag or chatsports.com/bet. Pretty cool.
No, it's more than a little bit cool. I mean, $100. I kind of wish that you would do that for me in our apartment. Like, that would be really cool, giving me $100.
Sorry, brother.
Yeah, no, I hear you there. But no, my bookie, I'm definitely going to use it this week. There's no doubt about that. And I think the game that I really want to bet on is the Ravens game.
Right, and speaking of those Ravens, my Ravens, they are going across the pond this weekend. They play at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, folks, whip out that coffee, make some eggs as the Ravens battle the Jacksonville Jaguars. And this is the first international game for the Baltimore Ravens. This is like the fifth for the Jaguars. I mean, essentially, London is their home right now. They could probably have a better fan base there than they do in Jacksonville. That's my hot take right there. Look, I mean, you have Leonard Fournette, and I think he is really a big, bright spot in that offense. Not so bright, perhaps Blake Bortles in his quarterback play right now isn't that great. But for the Ravens, they're 2-0 right now, playing fantastic defense. They did lose probably the best guard in football, Marshall Yanda, for the year. But they are favored by 3.5. And this could be a game where the Jaguars hang around for a while before the Ravens win it.
Yeah, well, like we've seen with Blake Bortles, Mr. Garbage Time himself, 7 touchdowns in the first quarter, 30 in the fourth quarter in his entire career. But what I really want to know is, are you making the Ravens schedule? I mean, come on, man. They've had the Bengals and the Browns and now the Jaguars? That's a joke of a schedule. I want to see them play a real team, but I think the Ravens, they're probably going to win this game, but I don't think it's going to be pretty.
Yeah, so the Ravens are favored by 3.5. We want you to weigh in terms of who is going to win this game this week. Give us a heart for the Baltimore Ravens. Give us a wow face for the Jaguars. Mitchell, you are going with the Jaguars. What is wrong with you?
I think the Ravens win the game, but I think the Jaguars cover.
Okay, that's fair. I will accept that. I'm going with my Ravens. Joe Flacco gets it done internationally, if you will. And the Ravens move on again. Chime in, use the heart for Ravens, wow face for Jaguars. We are picking against the spread. And we move on to the Broncos taking on the Buffalo Bills. This just screams trap game for me, Mitchell, but I feel like it's too early in the year for a trap game. And I feel like if the Broncos were more of an offensive team, they probably would lose this game at Buffalo. But you can pack your defense. That's something that is portable in the NFL. And I think the Broncos get after Tyrod Taylor. The Bills, look, they're allowing 10.5 points per game. But on the other side of things, the offense is not scoring a lot. So I like Denver in this one.
I like Denver as well. Like you said, the Bills' offense is basically LaShawn McCoy and Charles Clay. And the fact that Charles Clay is their leading reception guy right now is kind of scary. But I think Denver really gets after the Bills in this game. They give them a lot of trouble. But C.J. Anderson and Trevor Siemian, man, they've looked great. Siemian right now, 7 touchdowns, leading the NFL. So,
well, let me ask you this. I mean, is he on the path to perhaps becoming the MVP? Or is he in, like, the legit conversation right now?
I guess you have to put him in the conversation. He's up there with – he's got 7 touchdowns, and the Broncos look really good, but I don't think he finishes as a candidate because the Broncos want to run the ball and they want to play defense, and our league doesn't like that for MVPs.
Well, of course, we want you to weigh in. The Broncos are favored by 3, so give us a heart for Denver if you're taking the Broncos. Give us a wow face if you are taking the Buffalo Bills in this matchup. You're going Denver. I'm going Denver. We feel pretty good about that.
I do. I was pretty surprised by that. I think the Broncos win this game pretty easily.
All right, let's move on here. Saints taking on the Panthers. The Panthers are favored by 5.5 points. The Saints are coming off a game, Mitchell, where they were absolutely embarrassed against the New England Patriots. And you know what? I think it was a situation where the Saints just ran into a buzzsaw. I mean, a Patriots team on a longer-ish week coming off that Thursday night loss, they were very mad. And going into New Orleans, they were licking their chops against that defense. Meanwhile, the Panthers, they've just been okay. You know, they're winning games, but the offense isn't that great. And now this is a big test for them because no Greg Olsen.
Yeah, that's exactly what I have in my notes. No Greg Olsen. That's something Cam Newton has never experienced, and it's something that I'm a little worried about him. That's kind of like his safety blanket. I mean, I don't know about you, but if somebody took away my blanket, I'd be pretty upset. I don't even know if I'd be able to sleep at night.
You know, and Harris Rubenstein, of course, of Chat Sports, brings up a good point in the fact that Cam Newton is still getting used to his new shoulder, right? I mean, the surgery that he had, it's essentially a new shoulder, and as a quarterback, that's a big adjustment.
Oh, that's a huge adjustment, but I still think the Panthers win the game, but I think the Saints cover it. And I mean, Drew Brees against the Panthers in his career has 10 wins and 11 losses, so it's kind of a coin flip in that regard. But, man, to cover the spread, I think it's the Saints.
By the way, Marshawn Lattimore is getting it done in the secondary. I mean, he is the one bright spot in that defense right now for the Saints. So the rookie cornerback really getting it done. We want you to vote, of course. Who wins this game in the NFC South duel? Saints, give us a heart. Panthers, give us a wow face. Again, the Panthers are favored by 5.5 I'm going to go with you in this one. I will take the points in terms of going with the Saints. I think they keep it close. I'm going to go with the Panthers straight up, but I do like the Saints to at least be within that margin. And we want you folks also to weigh in on this, because it's a legit question in terms of the recent play in the NFC South. Who will win this division? Because, you have the Panthers with a great defense, the Bucs with a great defense, but we've only seen one game from them. The Falcons, it seems like they're back, but the Saints, they have the firepower to contend as well.
I think when you look at a complete team from running game, from a defensive standpoint, and then the quarterback play, it's the Falcons. You could maybe say the Buccaneers are in there for a wild card spot, but until I see a team that can really put up the amount of points that the Falcons can put up and then get after the quarterback, I don't see another team in this division beating the Falcons.
Going into the season, it seemed like it was a coin, or I guess a roll the dice, whatever has four sides to it. I mean, you could pick any of those teams legit to win that division. So, of course, weigh in with your thoughts, and we will move on here to the Steelers taking on the Bears. The Steelers are favored by 7.5 on the road. That strikes. Give me the points, because I'm going to go with Chicago here. I think they keep it close. They bounce back a little bit from that really bad performance against Tampa Bay.
For sure, and Big Ben is not as good on the road. We've seen that throughout his career. I mean, from a fantasy standpoint, I know this isn't a fantasy show, but he averages 30 fantasy points at home and only 16 on the road.
That's amazing to me.
That's literally 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
That's mind-blowing. And just the Bears, I think they're not as bad as like what people think. They just had a bad week last week against a Buccaneers team that had 2 weeks to prep for them. I think that's a little bit undersold. So I think the Bears cover, but I still think the Steelers win.
Right, I think the Steelers win outright, but hey, the Bears do get Prince Amukamara back in that secondary. They get Kyle Long back, a good guard there at the offensive line, an offensive line that's very underrated. So I think the Bears keep this one close. Again, who you got? Give us a heart for the Steelers. Give us a wow face for the Bears. Again, the Steelers, 7.5. That's way too generous for me. And how about this stat? Bell and Brown, no TDs this year. Crazy.
Wow.
So, I mean, Brown's getting the yards. Bell has not been. If you think about it, neither of them have scored this year. Pretty crazy, huh?
That is pretty crazy. That's a wow face in itself.
The Killer Bees, not so killer right now, but again, give us a heart for the Steelers, give us a wow face for the Bears. We'll track what you guys think as we go forward, because of course, you, the viewers, are part of this contest as well, not just Mitch and me, so throw in your picks as we go along here. How about the Browns taking on the Colts? This is America's Game of the Week, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you, DeShone Kizer taking on Jacoby Brissett, and the Browns are favored by 1.5 at Indianapolis. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I have any kids, but if I did and they were bad, I would probably make them watch this game.
Oh, Lord. That's tough, man. You're a tough parent, or would-be parent.
Yeah, well, I might be. Who knows? But this is an ugly game, but I don't know. I think the Browns cover the spread. I actually think the Browns win this game, so.
Well, look, the Colts are allowing nearly 400 yards per game, but hey, Vontae Davis comes back, Darius Butler at the safety position, so bolstering that secondary a little bit. For the Browns, the wide receiving core, not that great right now. Corey Coleman is now on IR. The pressure's on Kenny Britt. Hugh Jackson called out Kenny Britt to be a better wide receiver, to really carry this wide receiving core, and he's going to have to when he has the likes of Higgins right behind him. I mean, guys that not many people know. So, folks, who do you have in this game? Again, the Browns are favored by 1.5 on the road, taking on the Colts. Give us a heart for the Browns. Give us a wow face for the Colts. And we will track your thoughts as we go along in this program. You have the Browns. I'm going to take the Colts at home. I like the way they competed, even though they lost against Arizona last week. I think that carries over. Jacoby Brissett gets some more reps in to get prepared for this game. So give me the Colts. I don't feel great about it. I mean, either way, I don't feel great.
Yeah, it just feels gross either way. I just feel kind of disgusting, like I need to shower, and I don't really want to watch this game.
Well, you know what? I will watch this game because I am using mybookie.ag. I think it's the best sports book out there. I have a lot of gambler friends, and they always ask me, Cam, what's the best bang for my buck, fun way to really track things? And I say mybookie.ag is really a great source. I mean, 100% deposit bonus using the promo code CHAT. You just can't beat it.
I mean, you said best bang for your buck. If there's one thing we have seen in sports that's not best bang for your buck, it's the Ravens signing the Ravens extending Joe Flacco. I mean, come on.
He's a good quarterback. So.
Yeah, but I mean, what is really good is the fact that you can get a double deposit down on MyBookie, and all you have to do really is just go to mybookie.com, type promo code chat, and you get double your deposit. I mean,
Chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code chat, of course, and mybookie.ag. This entire show is presented by mybookie.ag. So it's almost like it's our little friend that just kind of comes along with us as we go through these highlights and these picks, right? I mean, that's kind of cool. We have mybookie.ag to follow us along.
Sounds like when we went out this weekend, you and me.
So, of course, go on to that site and use the promo code so they know you came from us. And we will move on with our picks. The Buccaneers taking on the Minnesota Vikings. As we mentioned, the Vikings sans Sam Bradford, if you will. He will be out with a knee injury. That means Case Keenum time, ladies and gentlemen. There was originally no line to this game. There is now a line of 2 in favor of the Bucs. So the Bucs are the home or road favorites in this one, and we both agree on this pick. We're going Bucs.
Yeah, no Sam Bradford. The Vikings did not look very good last week against the Steelers, and I just see that this game is more of a Bucs kind of game and low-scoring game. The Vikings, though, have only given up 18 points at home, and I think that the Buccaneers could maybe score only 18 points and still win this game by 2. So.
This game at 1 o'clock on Fox. So this is a chance for the Buccaneers to really make a statement win. I'm not going to take that statement or that phrase that I put in that box there out just because Sam Bradford is not playing. They're playing in Minnesota. It's a good defense. If the Buccaneers can get this victory, I think it's very impressive. So I want you folks to weigh in, of course. Who you got? Do you have the Bucs? They're favored by 2. Do you have the Vikings? Give us a wow face. There you go. Heart for Bucs, wow face for Vikings. We both are going with the Buccaneers. They had a great game against the Bears last week. So I think they carry that momentum.
Not only that, like their defense played really well. They basically shut out the Bears the entire game. And yeah, sure, it's only the Bears, but I mean, are the Vikings really that much better with Case Keenum?
And speaking of the Vikings, we want to know, can the Vikings actually be a playoff team without Bradford? And this is like a low-key, sneaky question, Mitchell, because there are reports that one Teddy Bridgewater could return at some point this season. So if that were the case, maybe they could still be a playoff team without Bradford. See what I did there?
I see what you did there. That's sneaky, Cam. But I don't see it. Either way, I just can't see it. I mean, Bradford coming off that knee injury, that's brutal, and that takes a lot for a guy to get over. And I just don't think this team has the firepower offensively without Bradford, which is kind of crazy for me to say. But there's no way a team led by Case Keenum is going to be in the playoffs. And until I see Bridgewater back, I can't think anything else.
And it's a tough situation for Dalvin Cook as well. He's really running well, but when you don't have the threat of the pass, it's going to be some tough sledding for him. We'll see going forward. I think the Vikings can at least hang around in the discussion. We want you to know, or want you to weigh in, so please do comment in the section below this video. And we have Texans. We have Patriots. The Patriots are favored by 14 in this one. And so before we get there, though, of course, we want to show some comments. We want to show DeMarcus Stevens. Straight up, nope. Just flatly nope. Can the Vikings be a playoff team without Bradford? Nope. How about Richard Allen Harris Jr.? Vikings can't even be a playoff team with Bradford. Shazam!
I don't
Yikes.
know about that.
Oh, boy.
They look pretty good on Monday night against Saints. Yeah, sure it was against the Saints, but they have a talented team offensively with Bradford, and he just makes that team go.
Richard, not a fan at all of those Vikings. Again, we thank you for commenting. Keep them coming throughout the show here. Let's get to those Texans and Patriots, as I promised. And the Patriots coming off really a nice game against New Orleans. Tom Brady still has it. Gronk is back, or I guess is going to play. I mean, he did get a little dinged up in that New Orleans game. Meanwhile, Houston, yeah, they beat the Bengals on Thursday Night Football. Yeah, it's a little bit of a longer rest because they're coming off that Thursday night game. But here's the deal. Bill Belichick has never lost at home to a rookie quarterback. I don't think it changes.
I don't think it changes either, and I think the Patriots win this game probably by 14 points, by 2 touchdowns, which is why I think this spread is a pretty interesting spread. But until I see Deshaun Watson be able to show that he can throw the football in the NFL, I can't really trust that Texans offense. And I'm interested to see this game, though, because I want to see the Patriots really test Watson.
And I think they will. I think they'll bring a lot of exotic blitzes. Bill Belichick is probably having a field day. Matt Patricia, too, the defensive coordinator there. So who you got in this one? The spread is 14. I actually think the Patriots could win by like 16, 17, maybe 20 points. So I'm going to go with the wow face in my vote. We want you to vote. Give us a heart for the Texans. Give us a wow face for the Patriots. And you're going Texans.
Yeah, this one was really hard for me, just simply because I don't think the Patriots beat them by 2 touchdowns. I think they are winning this game for most of it by 2 to 3 touchdowns, and then the Texans are probably just going to get some garbage touchdown at the end. And yeah, that's probably what it's going to be. So
this is a rematch of the divisional game last year in the playoffs. Texans battling the Patriots. That's when Brock Osweiler was the quarterback. Now it's Deshaun Watson, and we have a reaction poll for you folks out there. Is Deshaun Watson a playoff caliber quarterback? And I asked that question because the Texans can make the playoffs because, look, they did it with Brock. Why not with Deshaun?
Yeah, they're in a weak division when you want to talk about just getting into the playoffs. And think about the fact that they got into the playoffs last year. They scored only 25 touchdowns. It's the first time in NFL history that a team has scored only 25 touchdowns and had a first-round bye in the playoffs.
So use your heart for absolutely on his own. Give us a wow face for with a healthy defense, so J.J. Watt, Clowney, etc. Give us a laughing face for probably not, and give us an angry face because you're angry that we even brought up this question. No chance Deshaun Watson is a playoff caliber quarterback. Where are you going on that one?
I'm going with wow face. I think with a healthy defense, any quarterback could be a playoff caliber quarterback. If you have a solid defense, you can get in. I mean, we saw with Peyton Manning, he threw for 9 touchdowns, 17 interceptions.
Sure.
They won the Super Bowl that year.
You're absolutely
Defense
right.
wins championships.
All right, let's get into pick number 8 here. Falcons at Lions. The Falcons favored by 3. I mentioned on my show how the Falcons are back quite recently, and I think they really are. I mean, they performed big time against the Green Bay Packers on Sunday Night Football, and now they take on another undefeated team in the Lions, and they showed me something on Monday night. I mean, they took down the New York Football Giants. We don't know how good the Giants are going to be this year, but it's still an impressive victory in prime time, something you're not used to with Matt Stafford.
Yeah, that's for sure. And when I think about this game, I think you almost have to pick the Falcons. I mean, Matt Stafford in his entire career has not been able to beat a winning team. I mean, think about this stat. You want to talk about a stat that you guys should go to MyBookie chats. You guys should go to MyBookie, chatsports.com/bet, promo code chat. But Stafford is 5-46 against winning teams in his entire career.
It's kind of disgusting.
Kinda. That's horrible.
So, folks, weigh in. Who you got? Give us a heart for the Falcons. They're favored by 3. This is at Detroit. Give us a wow face for the Vikings, or excuse me, the Lions. The Lions are 4th in defensive efficiency. I mean, they're playing low-key pretty well. Jim Caldwell, by the way, saying this week, the Lions' run game is respectable. When your coach is saying that your run game is just respectable, I mean, that's a little alarming to me. I had to throw that in there in the info box. The Falcons have to get used to life without Vic Beasley, their star pass rusher, at least for the next month. And that means perhaps some more time for Matt Stafford to pick apart that secondary. I'm going to take the Lions in this one. I actually think they win outright.
Yeah, see, I can't. I mean, who are the Lions? The Lions have played the Cardinals.
Sure.
Basically without David Johnson. And then they just played the Giants, who have looked like a dumpster fire of a team. Not the worst team in New York, which is saying a lot, but they definitely haven't looked good. And now they're going to go play the Falcons. I think the Falcons have been playing really good football, and I'm taking the Falcons there, homie.
Yeah, with the Lions, the season's early. We don't really know what we're going to get with some of these 2-0 teams. And so we ask you folks, react. Which 2-0 team won't make the playoffs? The Broncos, the Lions, the Falcons, my Baltimore Ravens. So heart for Broncos, wow face for Lions, laughing face for Falcons, angry face for the Baltimore Ravens. Mitchell, I have a feeling I know what you're going to go with.
Yeah, I mean, this is a slam dunk for me. This is about as easy as a slam dunk as you can get, and it's the Ravens.
Ugh.
They haven't played anyone yet. I need to see them play a real team, and until I see them play against a legit competition, they're not going to be playing teams like the Browns and all that all day. So,
will your mentality change at all if the Ravens win against Jacksonville? Or is that not enough for you yet?
beating Jacksonville, come on.
Come on, somebody get on the Ravens bandwagon. You know what? I think the Lions have the best shot of not making the playoffs this year. I think it's possible Green Bay really gets on a roll. Not sure there's space in the wild card realm for Detroit this year. But we'll see. So react. And hey, we have comments to show. J. Rome. Brady struggling this week. That's a prediction, it seems like. Well, against the Texans at home?
Well, I think it's interesting. We saw last year, Brady really struggled actually against the Texans. He only threw 2 interceptions the entire season. And then in that playoff game, he threw 2 interceptions against the Texans. Now, they don't have A.J. Boye, who was a big loss, but the Texans were able to get after Brady and give him a little fits, but I think the Patriots offense is just going to be too much for the Texans this week.
And Tom Brady has had success against top defenses before, as we bring in Ryan Rich, saying Titans will take the AFC South. Hard to argue against that.
Yeah, taking the AFC South is like taking candy from a baby. I mean Jaguars,
the situation is dire.
Colts,
Yeah.
Texans. I'm pretty sure even Joe Flacco could win that division.
All right, enough with the Joe Flaccos. How about Ben Robinson? Ben, Falcons will just choke again. I don't know. I'm not sure if he means this week against the Lions or perhaps just in the broad stroke of things this year. I'm not sure. But,
choking
you can bring
again.
that up.
I know a lot of teams that would love to be able to make the Super Bowl. So the fact that they even made the Super Bowl is a big accomplishment. And sure, yeah, if they run into the Patriots again, they might choke. But a lot of teams choke against the Patriots.
We got another comment from Ryan Rich here. How good do you think the Titans will be? I think they will be really good, Ryan, and here's why. The play of offensive lines in the NFL this year are bad. The play of the offensive line for the Titans is good. They have Jack Conklin, Taylor Lewan, a really good interior as well. The two names I just mentioned there, those are the tackles, probably the best tackle duo in the NFL. That's going to provide a lot of running lanes for DeMarco Murray, who's hurt right now, but that's okay. He'll get better. You got Derrick Henry, too, as well. And you have wide receivers. You have wide receivers for Marcus Mariota to throw to. Eric Decker, Corey Davis, one of the premier route runners coming out of college. So I think the Titans will be really good this year. I think they will probably have a home game this year in the playoffs.
Yeah,
right?
You could see it. I mean, they definitely have an easy schedule, especially with that division. But like you said, that offensive line is legit. They're big guys, and they beat up people on the defensive line. And last week, Derrick Henry scored a touchdown, rushing touchdown. Delaney Walker, their tight end, scored a rushing touchdown. And their fullback scored a rushing touchdown. Why? Because they beat up people on that interior line.
Road Raiders.
Oh.
They get it done.
They do. They do.
So watch out for the Titans this year as we recap MyBookie.ag Pick'em Challenge. So far, I have the Ravens. Mitchell, for some reason, has the Jags. You folks have the Jaguars. You're killing me.
Thank you.
We all have the Broncos, the Saints as well. I'm going Bears. Mitch, you're going Steelers. Or excuse me, the viewers are going Steelers. Mitchell, as well, is going with the Bears with me. I'm going Colts. Fans are going Colts. Mitch, you're going Browns, so you're off the path there. We all agree the Bucks will get it done with those 2 points. Texans. Mitch, you're on board with them. I have the Patriots. The viewers have the Patriots as well. I have the Lions. Viewers have the Falcons. And you have the Falcons. So some disagreements there. It's going to be fun to track through the week 3 here in terms of who gets the most success. And we let you know of a very successful company in mybookie.ag. 100% deposit bonus. Just use promo code chat. What does that mean? You download the app, you get online, mybookie.ag or chatsports.com/bet. Using that promo code, your initial deposit, 100% bonus. So I put down 500, I get 500. Free money. Can't beat that.
Free money, $500 free money. James, wherever you are, that's what I'm looking for in my new contract with Chat Sports. And it's a super solid deal here at Chat Sports, but it's also a super solid deal at MyBookie. Check them out. Guaranteed you're going to like what you see, and you have a really high chance of winning. And
you get, as a fantasy player, a lot of questions, I'm sure, about picking games as well, right?
Man.
I mean, so much investment these days in terms of picking NFL games. This is the place to be to make those picks.
Oh, absolutely. You got to check it out.
All right, so let's move on. Of course, we are presented by MyBookie.ag one more time. And here are the Dolphins and the Jets. Dolphins are favored by 6 in this game. This one is in New York, so I guess there's a positive sign for the Jets. I mean, there's not much to really point to in terms of success for New York. Even Bilal Powell, who I thought was going to be the one bright spot in the offense this year, has been struggling. And look, the situation is rough around him. The offense isn't very good. Josh McCown is that bridge quarterback right now. The Jets are just waiting for that next draft, hoping for perhaps a Darnold or an Allen or what have you at the quarterback position. This is a rough one for the Jets. I think the Dolphins are playing pretty well right now.
Yeah, I think so too, and I'd be interested to see if the Jets are actually tanking. I just wrote an article today at Chat Sports. You guys can check that out at chatsports.com, but I think the Jets could possibly be tanking, and that's why I'm taking the Dolphins. But I think it's interesting that you're going to be taking the Jets in the spread of this, which is hard to believe just simply because, I mean, the Jets' offense is really ugly. It's probably the ugliest thing I've seen the last 2 weeks, which is saying a lot because we lived in a hotel together for an entire week. So
yeah, we don't even want to go into any of that. But of course, who do you have, ladies and gentlemen? Dolphins, give us a heart. Jets, give us a wow face. You're right, I am taking the Jets after I just insulted them for the last 45 seconds. But I do think they keep it close. This is a division game. It's at home. I mean, you can't lose more than 6 points, right? I mean, come on. I think they can take those points and do something with them and perhaps keep this one close. And Jay Ajayi, by the way, running back for the Dolphins, questionable with a hamstring. So we'll monitor that going forward. But I am going the Jets. You're going the Dolphins. The viewers, we, of course, want you to weigh in as we have a comment here from Wyatt Fuller. The Dolphins are probably the most underrated team in the NFL. A top 5 RB, correct. A top edge rusher, sure. One of the best wide receiver trios in the business, okay. And Cutler is reunited with his coach, Adam Gase, when he had the best season of his career in Chicago when Gase was his. And that was the argument in terms of actually creating some fantasy relevance for Jay Cutler because he was returning to Adam Gase, where he had his best career in Chicago, with him at the helm as the offensive coordinator. Do you think there's some legitimacy to this comment from Wyatt?
Yes and no. I still want to see them play against a team that's not the Chargers. The Chargers have yet to be able to show that they can win close games, but Jay Ajayi is a legit running back. I like him, and yeah, they have a sick wide receiver core, but their secondary, their back seven may be the worst back seven in the entire NFL.
Right.
And I think that's legitimate, and I think they're going to get ripped apart this year, and yeah, it's probably not going to be against the Jets. I'm pretty sure the Jets aren't going to rip up many teams this year, but Dolphins are good, but I wouldn't call them the most underrated team in the NFL.
I'll tell you this, Wyatt. I think Jay Cutler makes Devontae Parker and Kenny Stills way better wide receivers than when they were playing with Ryan Tannehill. I mean, Tannehill was more of a little pop and throw kind of guy, 3-step drop, get rid of it. Jay Cutler likes to bomb it. So.
That he does.
So he's a gunslinger like myself back in the day. We are recapping the NFL power rankings here. By the way, talking about intramural football, not actual football, but I digress. Colts at number 32, Jets at number 31, Browns at number 30, Niners, they just lost. They'll probably fall more. They're at 29 right now. Bengals 28, Bears 27, Bills at 26, Cardinals at 25, Saints at 24, Texans at 23, Rams at 22. They just won, so they'll rise. Jacksonville at 21 right now. Chargers at 20, Giants at 19, Vikings at 18, Redskins at number 17. And the Dolphins, here's the middle of the pack here. Dolphins at 16, Eagles at 15, Panthers at 14, Tennessee Titans at number 13, Ravens at number 12, 11, the Detroit Lions, Tampa Bay in the top 10 at number 10, Seattle Seahawks at number 9, Cowboys at number 8, Packers at number 7, Steelers at number 6, Broncos at number 5, and then Raiders 4, Patriots 3, Falcons 2, Chiefs number 1. And we're going to go negative here. We want you to weigh in. Who is the worst team in the NFL right now? You could make the argument that the 49ers are. You could make the argument that the Jets are, the Colts, the Browns. In fact, we could have our answer after the Colts and the Browns play this weekend, right?
I guess we could. The Colts are definitely up there. The Browns, I think, are a little bit better than what people give them credit for, but it's the Jets for me, man. They have their quarterback situation. You could actually probably try out for the Jets and play a little quarterback.
Have been receiving calls per sources.
Oh, yeah? I used to work at the Jets. Maybe I could get you an in there. But
dude, connections. I love it.
No, quarterback play's ugly. They're thinking about starting Christian Hackenberg. Their defense just gave up 45 to the Raiders. Oh, man, that team is hard to watch. They're bad.
So, of course, chime in here. Who's the worst team in the NFL right now? And we're talking about an overall trend in this league. The quality of play is pretty bad. And so there are a lot of teams to choose from as we bring in a commenter. Blake saying the Bears are the worst team in the NFL. Wow.
The Bears, oh my. No, I don't think it's the Bears. The Bears are bad, but they're not the worst. They would beat the Jets by 2 touchdowns.
They have the $18 million man and Mike Glennon there at quarterback. I mean, come on. So
I'd rather have Mike Glennon than Joe Flacco.
For crying out loud. Hey, how about Joshua Ryan Houston here talking about the Jets as the worst team in the league?
He's a smart
guy. Agrees with you.
Yeah, well, he's a smart guy. Anybody can watch football and tell me the Jets are the worst team in football. I think that's pretty easy.
Alan Clark has some contentions with the Cowboys. Dallas got owned by the Broncos, and they have them at 8. What a joke. Alan, I think it's more of a microcosm of what we're at in the NFL. There is a big drop-off after team number 5 in my eyes. I just think that there's a lot of parity right now. It's a little watered down, and the differential in talent and skill, not very big.
I would ask him what he thinks about the New England Patriots. They lost a game too, and they were top 3. He doesn't seem to have an issue with that, so at me. Mitchell Renz.
At Mitchell Renz, at Mr. Rogers99. Get at us as we get to more of the picks here in Week 3 across the NFL. We'll get to the Giants and the Eagles right now. This one's in Philadelphia, and it's desperation time for the Giants. The Eagles are favored by 6 in this one, and it's just hard for me to really imagine a Giants team with as good of a defense as they have to be a bad team this year, especially with Eli still at the quarterback position. You know, I kind of find Eli as the NFC version of Joe Flacco, gets it done in the playoffs, has the rings, you know, has the MVPs and the Super Bowls. I mean, they can't go to 0-3, can they, the Giants?
Yeah, I don't think I thought they were a lot better than what they've shown, and I think the really thing you said there was like Eli Manning to me. Eli Manning probably is going to make the Hall of Fame. And I don't think he's a Hall of Fame caliber quarterback, but he's had a Hall of Fame caliber career, 2 Super Bowls, but the Eagles have been looking good, man, but they've been chucking the ball, and if there's one thing the Giants can do, they're pretty good at stopping the pass. So,
real quick here, a lot of hype around Zach Ertz, fantasy-wise.
Love Zach Ertz. Huh? 190 receiving yards, leads all tight ends in receiving yards, and he's been really good. I think over his last 10 games, he's got more receptions than like Antonio Brown or something crazy like that.
Pretty crazy, yeah. He's up there in the rankings this year. So, folks, weigh in. Who do you have in this one? Give us a heart for the Giants. Give us a wow face for the Eagles. They're favored by 6. You're going to go Giants.
I'm going to go Giants to cover the spread. I think the Eagles win this game at home, but I think it's only by a field goal. We see a lot of times these NFC East competitions are like a lot tighter, a lot better played defensively. And Odell Beckham, I think now with an extra week, that really helps the Giants offense. And the Eagles played a tough game last week against the Chiefs, but I like Wentz. He's looked really good, but I think the Giants can at least hang enough in this game. But I'm going to take the Giants to cover the spread, Eagles to win the game.
I actually think the Giants win this game outright. I think they get it done. Desperation, backs against the wall. Eli tends to do well in that situation. So I will take the Giants. I will use my heart there as we take you to a reaction poll. How many wins will the Giants earn? I am really curious to know what the viewers think about this. So right now the Giants are at 0-2. They can't win more than 14 games. So give us a heart if you think 0-5. Wow face for 5-8, laughing face for 8-12, angry face for 12-14. What do you think?
I'm going to go 5-8, and I just think that's where I see them being right now. They have yet to show me anything offensively, and they have a tough schedule. I mean, that NFC East is looking good. They play the AFC West. That's a lot of tough games, and I don't know. I just don't see the Giants right now winning over 8 games, which is sad because I thought they were a playoff team, and I really wanted to see Brandon Marshall make the playoffs for the first time in his career.
You know, I think they can get to 9 games, which may be enough in this division, but we will see. You know, we know how much parity there is in the NFC East. We know how crazy it can be. And we will see. Again, the Giants, I mean, it's still early, 0-2, that's fine. I mean, you know, the numbers are not with you in terms of making the playoffs. But if anybody knows how to make the playoffs after starting 0-2, it's the Giants. Remember, they did it one time, winning the Super Bowl not too long ago.
I think both their Super Bowls, they were 9-7.
Oh, there you go. All right. Let's move on here to Seahawks at Titans. And the Titans are favored by 3. This is actually one of my can't-miss games this weekend. Unfortunately, it's a regional game. It's 4:05 on Fox, so it depends where you are if you will get this game or not. But I think it's a really important one. It's a big test for the Titans for their playoff legitimacy. And favored by 3 at home against the Seahawks, this is probably uncharted waters for them, right?
No, it's definitely uncharted waters, but I think what I really want to see here is how the Seahawks offensive line handles the Titans. And the Seahawks offensive line has not looked good this season, making Russell Wilson run for his life. But the other thing I want to see is the Titans run game against this Seahawks defense. This Seahawks defense is legit. They're keeping them in games, and 8 of their 11 starters have made the Pro Bowl. And I still think the Seahawks have the best defense in football. It's just that offensive line has been ugly.
And you have Jarrell Casey there and Brian Arakpo that can come after Russell Wilson in this one. So the Titans, again, are favored by 3. Who you got in this one? Give us a heart for the Seahawks, a wow face for the Titans. I'm going to take the Titans. I think they win this game by like 6 or 7 points. The Seahawks tend to struggle in September on the road. I think that continues, but you're taking the Hawks.
I think the Seahawks are going to win this game. And I'm kind of biting my tongue a little bit in that, and I kind of want the Seahawks to win more than anything. So I'm hoping that they win this game, just show that they can actually give the ball to Chris Carson. Doug Baldwin, I think, gets it rolling a little bit. Titans have kind of a weak secondary, so I'm hoping they start throwing the ball a little bit more. But low-scoring game, I think. All
right, should be an interesting one at that. Let's move on to the Bengals taking on the Packers. Can you believe this is the Jim Nantz, Tony Romo game on CBS? This is America's game of the week in the late window, folks. Bengals, they're 0-2. They're looking absolutely gross right now. I mean, the locker room is riffing that maybe they should sign Colin Kaepernick, according to Pro Football Talk. Packers, meanwhile, coming off a tough loss against the Atlanta Falcons. They are favored by 9 in this one, so it kind of makes the pick tough.
See, I don't know if it makes it tough, and the reason why I say it is because Aaron Rodgers at home is money.
True.
The dude just beats on competition. He's 54-14 at home for his career. This Bengals team has yet to score a touchdown, and I'm pretty confident that Aaron Rodgers is going to put up a few touchdowns this week against a Bengals team that, like you said, just looks lost.
You know, it's interesting. Ty Montgomery leading all running backs in terms of snaps played, and he would not be the guy that I would pick going to the season to have that stat right now.
Yeah, I think it's surprising, but I think entering the season, a really interesting stat that I dug up was the Packers were 7-1 last year when Ty Montgomery had 11 touches or more. And I think what we're seeing this year is the Packers want to get him more involved, and when they do, they win games. So, going with the Pack.
It's quite a record indeed for Aaron Rodgers at home. I'm with you, Mitchell. I'm taking the Packers in this one. I mean, there's nothing that I've seen from the Bengals that has me feeling any sort of positivity right now. I mean, they just can't do anything on offense, and it's rough. That offensive line is really bad, and I think the Packers front seven will get after Andy Dalton like it did against Russell Wilson in Week 1. Remember how they really got to him with that offensive line as well.
For sure, and the Bengals have yet to show anything from their offensive line. Their running games look bad, and when you see guys like A.J. Green speak up, who are very, very quiet,
yeah,
that's
usually
when you know
he
you have
is,
problems.
right. That's a good
point.
point.
That's when you know there's problems on the team.
Yeah, so we will see what happens with the Bengals and the Packers there, and of course, use your heart for the Bengals and the wow face for the Packers. You're picking against the spread here. Let's move on to trivia time. We want to ask you this interesting question. One of our own here at Chat Sports, Tom Downey, bringing this one up to us. Who are the 6 QBs to beat 31 or more NFL teams this year, Mitchell? Or not this year, in history, excuse me.
This year,
that would be nobody.
Yeah.
But, so who are the 6 QBs to beat 31 or more NFL teams? This is an interesting one.
Yeah, see, when I was really thinking about it, I was like, God, who has played forever, and then who's played on so many different teams? And I think that's really what you need to think about. But I only know, I think, 2 or 3 of them. I don't know if I could name all 6. I'd be interested to see if somebody could name all 6 of them.
By the way, no Google is allowed here, folks. Just right off the dome, right off the top of the head, comment in 6 players to beat 31 or more NFL teams in league history, and we will reveal them at the end of the program.
No Google, no Ask Jeeves, no Bing, whatever the heck my mom or my dad probably still search on.
Jeez, that's like 2005 right there, Mitchell. I love the reference. All right, we are moving on here. We are doing Chiefs at Chargers. The Chiefs are favored by 3. I talked about them at the beginning of the program and how they may have the most impressive resume in the NFL at this juncture. Chargers, winless, backs against the wall, tend to play pretty well. Phillip Rivers does in that situation. Chiefs by 3 right now. That's where we're at.
And I think it's the Chiefs. And like you said, backs against the wall. Do the Chargers really play well with their backs against the wall? I mean, the Chargers are 1-10 in the last 2 years in games decided by 7 points or fewer.
They don't close, that's for sure.
Yeah, sounds like Saturday night.
So the Chiefs at the Chargers, 4:25 Eastern Standard Time on CBS. That's the other late window game. Look, Kareem Hunt's getting it done. I mean, he's a legit running back in the National Football League right now. How about Antonio Gates with the history that he had?
Good for Antonio Gates. I love Antonio Gates. Really happy that he broke the touchdown record. Maybe we'll start seeing Hunter Henry involved a little bit more. But like you said, Kareem Hunt on pace right now for 2,840 yards and 40 touchdowns. Unbelievable, especially in the passing league that is the NFL right now. So who you got? Heart for the Chiefs, -3. Wow face for the Chargers. This is in Los Angeles. You're going with the Chiefs. I'm going to take the Chargers. And I actually think they win this game. I really do. I think they find a way to squeak out a victory against their divisional opponent. If you really think a team who's won 1 out of their last 11 games by 7 points or fewer, you should go to my bookie. You would probably make a lot of money because I guarantee not a lot of people are doing it, and I know I wouldn't.
I am going on mybookie.ag, of course. We are presented by mybookie.ag. You can go on www.chatsports.com/bet. Use promo code CHAT for 100% deposit bonus as we move on here to the Raiders taking on the Redskins. And this is actually the Sunday night football game, Mitchell. And I think it's a really fun one at that. This is actually another one of my can't miss games this weekend. The Raiders are favored by 3. They're coming across the country. And it's an interesting game in that the Redskins are coming off a pretty good victory against the Rams. And I think the Redskins see an opportunity here. I mean, they didn't look good in week 1, but I think they actually feel confident that they can actually win this division.
I think, yeah, I mean, from what we just saw, I would have said the Cowboys maybe, but they just got smoked by the Broncos. But when I watch the Raiders, they have the best offensive line in football, and I think the Redskins are really going to struggle getting after Carr. The Raiders last week averaged 6.6 yards per carry. 3 different guys had rushing touchdowns. They looked absolutely dominant on the run, and I think they're just going to lean on the running game. And sure, when Derek Carr needs to throw for 3 touchdowns, even if they're all 3 to Crabtree, he's going to do it.
And, of course, there are some injury issues with the Redskins in this one. Jordan Reed's going to be a game-time decision, so all you fantasy owners out there, monitor that situation. And Samaje Perine is dinged up a little bit as well, Rob Kelly too. So there are some injuries for the Redskins. You're going to go Raiders, and you think they win over 3.
Yeah, I think the Raiders win this game because of what you said with some of the injuries, and I just think the Raiders stack up really well with them offensively. That offensive line is a wall, and the Redskins don't really have, I think, the pressure to be able to get to them. And the Raiders have been playing better defensively, and Kirk Cousins and that offense, they are missing Deshaun Jackson, and they're missing Pierre Garçon.
You're absolutely right there. So we want you to weigh in. Give us a heart for the Raiders. Give us a wow face for the Redskins. I actually think the Redskins find a way to win this game on Sunday Night Football. They stun the Raiders. You heard it here, folks. And we want you to weigh in on this. Are the Raiders and or the Redskins Super Bowl worthy? And I ask this question because it is a Sunday Night Football game. So it has to indicate that both these teams are somewhat successful or have the potentiality to be successful this year. So I want to know from you. Raiders, Redskins, both? What do you think?
I'm not going to go with the Redskins. Like I said, the Redskins offense is missing Deshaun Jackson and missing Pierre Garçon a lot, and I'm surprised on how much that they are missing them. But Raiders, sure. Raiders have been playing pretty solid defense. They held the Titans, and yeah, sure, they held the Jets, but that offense looks good, and that offensive line looks elite, and they just paid Derek Carr a lot of money, and he looks good, man.
I would say that the Raiders are indeed a Super Bowl-worthy team. I think the Redskins, and I'm going to fall short of this, I'm going to say they're a playoff team. I think they can get to the playoffs, perhaps as a wild card or a division winner, but I don't think they'll get to a Super Bowl. But we shall see. There's plenty of football to be played, and that means there's plenty of mybookie.ag
Nice.
to be betting on. Of course, you can get all of those picks in on mybookie.ag or chatsports.com/bet. Just use the promo code CHAT. It's very simple, Mitchell. You sign up, you put your deposit in up to $1,000, they'll match it for you. So I put down $1,000, they give me $1,000. I have $2,000. I mean, that's pretty good.
I mean, you're making money doing literally nothing.
Nothing. I haven't even bet yet.
That sounds like Mark Sanchez's entire career.
Oh, God,
Which was far from solid. But what is solid is MyBookie. That's where I make all my bets, and I encourage you guys to do the exact same thing like he said. Put $1,000 down, get $1,000 back. I mean, you can't beat that.
The internet's #1 sports bookie, and I love picking games every weekend, and that's why I love using mybookie.ag. As we move on here, we have one more game to pick from. Cowboys taking on the Cardinals, a sneaky, interesting one at that. First of all, you got to wonder about the mentality, the psyche for the Cowboys coming off what was a really bad performance against the Denver Broncos, and the media frenzy, because this is Dallas, that followed this loss, especially in regards to that one play with Ezekiel Elliott, hands on the hips, all that.
Yeah, no, and I wrote an article about the Ezekiel Elliott situation, which, again, you guys should definitely check out at chatsports.com. You can check out all our articles at chatsports. But I think the Cowboys bounced back, and maybe it's a good thing they didn't go 2-0, because the last 2 times they went 2-0, they didn't make the playoffs. So I think this team could make the playoffs, and I think we're really going to see them lean more on that run game. They ran the ball only 14 times, passed the ball 50, and that's just not a good combination for them to win. So
this one is on Monday Night Football. No David Johnson, of course, we all know that. But hey, J.J. Nelson has been a nice little bright spot, as we see there. 5 receptions, 120 yards, 1 TD last week. A big waiver wire guy, too, in fantasy circles as well. So Cowboys are favored by 3. Give us a heart for Dallas. Give us a wow face for Arizona. This one is in the big toaster in Arizona. I actually like the Cardinals to win outright. I'm taking some big-time picks right here on Chat Sports Live.
It's gross.
And I think the Cardinals win outright. I really do. I think they get after Dak Prescott, because you know what? That game against Denver, the Broncos gave the rest of the NFL a blueprint in terms of how to beat the Cowboys, okay? Cowboys are going on the road again. I think the Cardinals have the defense to essentially model what Denver did. Not to the Denver level, but they can get it done seemingly so. And I think the Cardinals actually win this game outright.
You're gonna talk about blueprints. When you can't beat the Colts in regular time, that's a blueprint for a bad team.
Fair enough.
They should have lost to the Colts. They haven't looked good. I think the Broncos get it going, or the Cowboys get it going, and they win this game pretty easily.
Now, they do say any given Sunday, but we shall see. Folks, of course, weigh in as we go through our recap of picks here. Ravens taking on the Jags. I have my Ravens confidently. You, the viewers, have the Jags. Mitch, Jags.
Smart
team. We all agree on the Broncos. We all agree on the Saints. I have the Bears. You have the Bears, Mitchell. The viewers have the Steelers. Expecting a blowout at that. Colts and Browns. I have the Colts. Viewers have the Colts. You have the Browns, Mitchell. We all agree on the Bucks. I have the Patriots. The viewers have the Patriots. Mitchell, you have the Texans. I have the Lions. The viewers have the Falcons, and you have the Falcons. And going through further here, I have the Jets to make it close. The viewers have the Dolphins. You have the Dolphins, Mitchell. I have the Giants. The viewers have the Eagles, and you have the Giants, Mitchell. And I have the Titans against the Seahawks. The viewers have the Titans as well. Mitchell going with Seattle on the road. Green Bay take it on Cincinnati. We all agree. Clean sweep with Green Bay there. Chargers taking on the Chiefs. I have the Chargers to actually win this one outright. The viewers have the Chiefs. Mitchell, you have the Chiefs. Raiders, Redskins, Sunday Night Football. I have the Redskins. Viewers have the Raiders. Mitchell has the Raiders. And, of course, the Cowboys and the Cardinals. I'm going the Cardinals. Viewers going the Cowboys. Mitchell, you're going with the Cowboys. I feel like I am just like way off from you and the viewers right now. Is that like a proper kind of observation?
I think it's an okay observation. I mean, as we could see from the first game, who was the guy that was right, and that was me. So it sounds like they should be probably listening to me.
You know what? Whatever. Okay. Let's just get to the trivia answer here. Again, who are the 6 QBs to beat 31 or more NFL teams? Here they are, folks. And you know them. Brady, Breeze, Manning, Aaron Rodgers, the gunslinger himself, Brett Favre, and, excuse me, not Aaron Rodgers, Brady, Breeze, Manning, Favre, Kerry Collins.
Aaron Rodgers, Kerry Collins, basically the same person.
Yeah, Kerry Collins. Yeah, that's like basically fair enough, right? Like, okay, fine. Like, I'm curious to know if anybody actually commented Kerry Collins. Like, did anybody know that off the top of their head?
I don't even know if Kerry Collins knew that. That's
I don't
an
think
amazing
so either.
stat.
The guy's been around the league for so long. Oh, my gracious. So you saw our picks, ladies and gentlemen. We want to remind you one more time. We are presented by mybookie.ag. And as I say that, just want to correct myself, Aaron Rodgers, not part of that 6. Ben Roethlisberger is. So take out Aaron Rodgers, put in Ben, and there you go for the answers for the trivia question. Mybookie.ag, what can you say? 100% deposit, or 100% bonus on your initial deposit. Go to mybookie.com or mybookie.ag or chatsports.com/bet. Use the promo code chat. This entire program is brought to you by that company, and a great one at that, because if you're a bettor, I mean, it's the way to go, no doubt.
And I'm going to bet, and if there's one thing I'm probably going to bet on, actually I'm definitely going to bet on at MyBookie, Aaron Rodgers, what we were talking about, has beaten 30 of the teams. The only team that he hasn't beaten yet is the Bengals. So you guys want to go to MyBookie, put that bet on, because that'll be a good one.
Eventually, we can add Aaron Rodgers to that trivia question, but not right now. For Mitchell Renz, I'm Cam Rogers. We thank you for tuning in. Of course, you can get the podcast version of NFL Daily. Just search on iTunes and Google Play, whatever service you have. Search NFL Daily. You'll find us there on demand, wherever you are. Again, we thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time.